And a very good afternoon to you. The final game of the opening weekend of the A-League campaign comes from Campbelltown Stadium as the Australia Cup winners Macarthur welcome last season's wooden spooners Perth Glory to Sydney's southwest. The Bulls fans in bullish mood after that success at Amy Park, handing them their second trophy inside 3 seasons. Miller Stajovski deserving huge credit for the way he has reorganised his team in the wake of that betting scandal that stripped him of some of his best players. As for Perth, David Strilic has conducted major surgery on his squad, 14 players in, 13 out, and he starts with a clean slate after the capitulation late last season, which included an 8-0 reverse at Melbourne City and a 7-1 loss to Sydney the last time they visited the state of New South Wales. Glory have won just one away game in each of the last 2 A-League seasons. And that surely has to change if they are to become a force once more. Simon Hill and Grace Gill in commentary with you this afternoon. It's a warmish afternoon in Campbelltown, 21 degrees. And the pitch, as you'll see, looks a little mottled, but let's hope it plays better than it looks. Macarthur had a bit of a mixed record at this venue last season. 5 wins, 5 draws and 4 defeats. And that Australia Cup success serving notice that they may well be a force to be reckoned with again this season. Let's have a look at the teams. Just the one change for the Bulls from the 11 that started in the Australia Cup final. Captain Valère Germain returns after suspension. Jed Drew moves into his more preferred wider role. Walter Scott drops down to the bench. No Bernardo or Chris Economides, who are both recovering from injury. Liam Rose, Marin Yakulish and Luke Bratton all make their A-League bows for the Bulls. Bratton back after Socceroos duty, of course, last week. Rose beginning his second spell with the club. New signings Dino Arslanagic and Harrison Sawyer are among the substitutes. There's our match referee and officials, and Valère Germain, who's scored 12 goals in his 28 A-League games last season. He was the Bulls' top scorer. Of course, missed that Australia Cup final due to suspension. Here's the Glory 11, which shows just 3 survivors from their final A-League game of last season in Ollie Sale, Kalen Majeka-Dunmi and Golden Boot winner Adam Taggart. There are debuts for Ecuadorian defender Luis Kanga, Zach Lisalewski, Tarish Gomulka, Hiroaki Aoyama, and former Bulls Academy winger Abdullah Faisal, who has 100 family and friends here to watch him. Brandon O'Neill starting his 3rd Glory stint. Josh Risdon, Musti Amini, Nick Pennington, Nathaniel Blair and Riley Warland are all ruled out through injury. New Belgian import Anas Hamzawi is among the substitutes. There is one of the Glory new signings, Hiroaki Aoyama, back in New South Wales, where he won 2 NPL titles with Blacktown City and then this last winter season with the Marconi Stallions. And so highly do the Glory rate his talents that they've given him one of their import slots. Miller Stajovski enjoyed lifting his first major trophy as coach in Melbourne a couple of weeks back. Now the aim must be to challenge in the league. David Strilic was sat next to Ufuk Talay for that elimination final win for Sydney against Macarthur. Now he is the head coach of Glory, and this is home territory for him after growing up in nearby Fairfield. Ben Abraham is our match referee. And we are underway in Campbelltown, the final game of week 1, and this fixture produced 9 goals in 2 fixtures last season, so perhaps Grace Gill, plenty of entertainment ahead this afternoon.
Well, we're hoping exactly for that, Simon. Great to be here, and what an opening weekend it has been so far for season 20 of the A-League.
A complete miscue by Keely Adamson. Maybe the strong sun got in his eyes. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. That slight touch off his right boot gives Glory a throw, which Zach Lisalashki, I'm going to have difficulty with that pronunciation this season, takes to no great effect for Perth, and swept all the way back by Labib for a first touch for Ollie Sale, who launches it long. Adamson underneath that one. Glory have made a strong start here. Ball breaks for Jed Drew, but he's quickly hassled into a mistake by Lisalashki. Luke Bodnar trying to thread one through for Tarash Gamulka. Just a fraction too strong. But Glory quick out of the blocks.
Yeah, exactly that. You can see the bright start, the high press. They put in good pressure as well to win the ball back in their own half, and you suggest that's part of their early game plan, trying to get Macarthur on the back foot.
Philip Curto's goal kick, made firmly by Lisalashki. Glory effectively lining up with 4 central defenders along their back line today due to those injuries for Josh Riston, who's got a bit of a knee problem. And Riley Wallen, that's nicely done by Adamson. Bratton under pressure from Gamulka. Moved on quickly by Yerman. And this is Ivan Vujica. He's in position for the return from Yakalish. Macarthur having to settle for a throw. So Kalen Majekadumbi shifting across to right back. Lisalashki on the left. Kanga and Labib in the centre for Perth. Vujica too far in front of Yakalish. Starting debut for Andriano Labib. He made his senior bow off the bench in that 7-1 reverse to Sydney FC. Real baptism of fire, if you like, but gets his chance from the off today. And really difficult to know, I guess, in many respects, Grace, what to expect from Perth given the turnover.
Yeah, exactly that. You mentioned the numbers, the changeover across the transfer window, the off-season, 14 players in, 13 out, and even just the inexperience for this Perth team today, the age of a lot of the players on the field out there, really young players given the opportunity. No greater test than a new coach, new fresh set of eyes.
Yakalish after this one. Looking to get the better of Majekadumbi. It'll be a throw for the Bulls. Aaron Yakalish, who of course scored the winner in that Australia Cup final against Melbourne Victory, made the off-season switch from Melbourne City. Not taking up a visa spot, of course, due to his Australian father. This is Uskok. Jed Drew hugging the right touchline, not able to link up with Jaman. Now he does. Keely Adamson, who's now won back-to-back Australian Cups with 2 different clubs. Luke Bratton, the same story. Jaman, hustled off the ball by Brandon O'Neill. Luke Bratton tangling with Hiroaki Aoyama and getting the better of it. Drew. Throw it again for the Bulls. Whose season really fell away towards the latter part of last season, although of course they did make the finals. Lost 5 of their last 10. They They were actually top of the competition, round 7 last season. Looking to make a strong start at home. Jakalic gets the throw off Aoyama. This is Perth Glory's 5th visit to Campbelltown. They're yet to win at this venue. 3 defeats and 1 draw. Oh, that was a strong challenge from Lisalashki on Bratton, but ruled a fair one. Jakalic with pushing forward on the overlap. He threads it through instead. Brave goalkeeping by Ollie Sale to deny Macarthur the opening goal. Oh, and then given away by Luke Bodnar. Suicide for Perth Glory, and they've been made to pay cash as Jed Drew opens his account and the Bulls for the season in the 7th minute, and Perth only have themselves to blame.
Oh, Ollie Sale is furious, and understandably so. Macarthur gifted a goal, not dealt with by any means at the back. And after what was an initial really good save on the Harvey Norman replay by Ollie Sale, it made himself big, closed down the angle. This is just poor in the middle of the park from Perth. And the pass back to a completely unmarked Valère-Germain, and it's easy pickings for Jed Drew.
Well, Luke Bodnar just didn't look, and Jake Holman, looking to get back involved in the play, said thank you very much, squared it up, and Jed Drew did the rest. And that, sadly, was rather indicative of Perth's season last time around. And you cannot keep coughing up goals as cheap as that.
Goal scored by number 11,
Maybe the easiest one he puts away all season, Jed Drew. Case of mistaken identity there. I thought that was Germain, but it indeed was Holman with a nice square pass and a simple finish for Drew.
Well, not a great moment for Luke Bodnar, who's coming out of the colds during the off-season. Played in all 3 Australia Cup ties. Last season he played for just 91 minutes in total in 6 substitute appearances, but it's his error that has handed the Bulls the advantage. Let's see what the Glory can do about it. Lisalashki with the cross, steered away by Yerman.
Well, there's plenty of football to be played yet, but we'll remember that in the Macarthur final of the Australian Cup, it was the one shot on target that led to the 1 goal. It's all they needed in the game.
And of course in Philip Curto they had the Martin Duca medal winner as well. Sent wide by Gamulka. Aoyama was outnumbered 2-1. Yerman to clear up field, only as far as Labib. That's exactly the sort of start that David Strilic no doubt had warned against. Defence was really Glory's Achilles heel last season. They conceded 69 goals, and even in their 3 Australia Cup ties they copped 9. It seems lessons are yet to be learned despite the massive turnover in personnel. Away goes Jed Drew, already with a goal to his name. He's got past Lisalashki, and the square up is tucked away beautifully by Jake Holman. Rolls reverse from the opening goal. Drew the provider this time. Jake Holman tucks it away, and Macarthur are too clear. We've not yet played 10 minutes.
Well, if the first one was a little scrappy, that was anything but a really neat bit of play from Macarthur once more. And a handy bit of work on the Harvey Norman replay from Jed Drew. Backs himself, he's rapid, but this cutback is excellent. Again, defensively, a little poor from Perth. They're just standing watching. But the late run into the box there from Jake Holman is excellent. Returns the favour. applauds himself for the finish. But a really well-created goal for the Bulls.
It's been a decent weekend for the Holman family. Brother Corey, a winner in the derby last night for Sydney against the Wanderers, and now Jake on the score sheets. What a start for the Bulls. And what a baptism of fire for David Strilic as Glory coach.
Well, we just spoke a few minutes ago about the youth in this Perth side, a bit of an experience at the back, and his opening 10 minutes is surely showing just some lax moments, not taking responsibility for players, a bit of stand-in ball watching, particularly on that last goal.
And again, with the caveat that this is a new season and a new Glory squad, but Perth have now conceded 17 goals in their last 3 away games. Well, two away games in 11 minutes. Even the throw-ins are not going their way at the moment. They got away with that one. Here's Bodnar. Lisalashki. Chance for Abdullah Faisal to swing a cross in. Not a bad delivery. And Al Yama, not the tallest. If he'd been closer to 6 foot, he might have reached that.
We saw the opening couple of minutes from Perth. Really energetic, not allowing Macarthur any time on the ball at all. And really against the run of play, that first goal has opened things up and pretty quickly changed the complexion.
Welcome to the head coaching ranks, David Strilic. Glory's cup run, of course, ended by an upset loss at the hands of Morton City Excelsior. 3 good hit-outs in the knockout competition to try and prepare for life under their new coach. This is Germain, who rides those challenges beautifully. Glorious release as well for Jed Drew, but Labib has got back goal side. That was a good recovery from the young defender.
Yeah, really well defended there by Labib, and had to be too. After what was some good hold-up play from Germain to find Drew in space. We know that Jed Drew in open space just loves to stride into it.
Salashki got a foot in, and it will break kindly here for Taggart. Glory captain this season. Top of the box is Brandon O'Neill. And then Al Yama just too strong for the run of Majeka Dummi. That's a bit better from Perth.
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing. A bit more patience, a bit more composure on the ball. Taggart does well just to get his head up and find the run of Brandon O'Neill. Had a bit of bounce in it. I thought for just half a moment he might have hit it first time. Majeka Dummi had a really wonderful breakout season last year with Perth and more or less made himself a staple in the starting 11.
And had Josh Srisden been fit today, I'm sure he would have played in this more preferred role in the centre of defence. Glory backtracking again here, but Jed Drew held up by Lisalashki, who arrived from Western United in the close season. That was the right idea, as you heard David Strilic say to Abdullah Faisal. It's produced a corner for Glory. Just trying to pick out Adam Taggart early in the middle.
Yeah, I like the idea of that early ball across the defensive line, and tricky one to defend. I think Tommy Uscock probably had a bit more time than what he thought he did.
First corner of the game. Worked short, clipped in by Faisal, and Labib was there at the near post. Just trying to find that top corner. Here's Joey's international, Adriano Labib, signed his first senior professional contract during the off-season, a 3-year deal. Very much one for the future.
Drive it.
Lesalashki with the long throw. Labib. Faisal just blocked off by Adamson. Though he felt they might have had a foul there. Calmly done by Bratton. Look at the space here in midfield for Jake Holman, who sweeps it wide left. Wietze joining in if Jakalic needs him. Here is the fullback. And Germain is there at the back post. Has to settle for a corner, but Perth Glory were open for business once again.
Yeah, really neatly worked once more from Macarthur. Love to see Faisal just stay on his feet there. Sweeping cross to the far post. Germain's ultimately done well to find a corner for his team, but from one side of the field to the other, the thumbs up is right.
So the corner count is quickly squared up by Macarthur. Marin Jakalic to deliver. That's not a bad try from Matt Yerman. Doesn't score too many A-League goals. Just 3 in 213 matches.
Ultimately, what was an uncontested header. Didn't actually have to leave the ground to reach it, but couldn't redirect it downward. Great aerial target, Matty Yerman.
Nicely manoeuvred by Bratton. And then a foul by Taras Kamulka. Right from Brisbane Roar in the off-season. Liam Rose getting the rough end of this. Real shove in the back. Germain. Drew. Germain in position for the return. Labib is quick. It's a foul by Brandon O'Neill on Jake Holman. Free kick, Macarthur.
Yeah, just a little clumsy there from O'Neill. A good part of the field as well, especially when you've got the likes of Marin Jakalic standing over the ball. He can deliver one really nicely.
Well, even this early in the game, Ollie Sale knows that his team dare not concede a third. Otherwise, it might be a case of just damage limitation. Jakalic's delivery. And Valère Germain into a crowd of players. And it pops for Adamson. And there's room here for Jakalic. On the first touch wasn't the best. Still, he's managed to burrow his way through. And still, Jakalic, and still, and fired in the end by Thomas Larmoskok. And Perth have cracked again. Jakalic, the architect. They tried to stop him, not once, not twice, but maybe 3 times. And in the end, it was the big central defender, Tommy Uskok, who forced the ball home for 3-0.
They're certainly making the most of their chances at the moment. Macarthur on the Harvey Norman replay, the ball back out to Yakalish. He made it a little tricky for himself on his second touch, but then he puts in the hard work here. Beats one, beats two. This little give and go, really neat. Does get the shot away. Ollie Sale, well, not for the first time this afternoon, has done well for his side, but there's nothing he can do about that finish. And as Cook, you can see what it means to him as well. Not a regular goal scorer, but limbs everywhere. And ultimately the ball in the back of the net for the third time this afternoon.
Well, just his 7th goal in the Isuzu UTE A-League men's competition. He only scored once last season, which was against Brisbane back in March. So he's equalled that tally already this time around. And Perth Glory have a mountain to climb already.
Some serious damage limitation to be done here for Glory. I know it's a vastly different side from what we saw last year with the team, but not an unfamiliar tale. Their second half football, the Glory last year, was where they found most of their goals.
Well, we're going to have to find at least 3 of them to take anything from this trip. I don't think Keely Adamson was particularly expecting that sort of pass from a teammate. He dealt with it reasonably well. Sent forward by Uskok. Off the chest of Luis Kanga, big Ecuadorian international. Here's another one of the off-season signings. Let's have another look at that 3rd goal, Grace.
Well, really neatly done. A little combination play in high traffic areas.
Here's Taggart. Bratton restores control for the home team. And as for Glory, it's the same old story. Just too easy to score against. Nice readjustment by Bratton. Jaman always available. Drew. Jaman. Vujitsa. It's good football, this by the Bulls. And then a slightly heavy touch by Jake Coleman, which he acknowledges. Allows Labib to put the ball out for a throw.
It's really nice play at the moment from Macarthur. Nice sweeping moves, a little creativity. I love to see that as well. Quick hand of apology from Jake Holman, who knew that touch just let the move down a little.
Glory's troubles on the road in recent seasons have been well documented. Last 4 seasons they've played 52 away games. They've lost 34 of those, drawn 12 and won only 6. Their home record is pretty decent, stacked up against the other clubs, but it's a problem that David Strilic will have to try to resolve. Curto out to play sweeper keeper. Aoyama. Majeka Dummi. Jabbed forward by O'Neill. Square is Luke Bodnar. Labib. Switch. Just had a little bit too much meat behind it for Faisal. Former Bulls Academy player who scored 6 goals for them in the NPL winter season in New South Wales. 2 hat-tricks, if you don't mind. All of which earned him that move to the full-time game with Perth Glory. Adamson's throw hasn't found its mark, and a rasping drive from long range from Kayla Majakadummi is well palmed away by Philip Curto. Perth's first effort on target, I think. Attentions quickly switched to the other end as Drew again links up with Jaman. The return ball doesn't quite find its range. A bit of encouragement for Perth Glory.
Yeah, certainly. That partnership that we're starting to see grow more and more between Jed Drew and Valère Germain as well is a real joy to watch. They know where each other are on the field. The first time touch from Drew over the top to Germain was lovely.
Scott was just eased off the ball, but I think Taggart was doing so from an offside position. Play allowed to continue as Curto had the ball. Perth have won it back high up the park though. And this is Abdullah Faisal looking to hit the byline. And it goes for a throw off one of the goal scorers, Tommy Uskok. Here's that drive from Kayla Majakadummi some moments ago, bringing out the best in Philip Curto.
Like we needed any reminding.
The Solashki's throw. Faisal. Offside anyway, I think. Abdullah Faisal. Game earlier on today, incidentally, between Wellington Phoenix and Western United. Finished all square. Costa Barbarouses for the Phoenix and Angus Thurgate with an equaliser for Western United. And here, everything going the way of the Bulls. Forward by Lewis Kanga. Taggart applying enough pressure on Uskok to force the throw. Golden Boot winner in a team that finished bottom last season, Adam Taggart with 20 goals. Which just goes to show that really attack wasn't their main issue. Quickly taken free kick. Holman away. Threads it through. Yakulish. Marin Yakulish, oh, it's a great goal. And it's 4. That is a wonderful strike from Marin Yakulish, who further endears himself to the bullpen after scoring the winner in the Australia Cup final. Ollie Sale beaten again.
Well, that is just pretty to watch. On the Harvey Norman replay, this ball from Jake Holman again, he's got an eye, slips through the defence. And that is beautiful from Marin Yakulish. The touch inside, the little glance up, the curl on the shot, and it nestles into the side netting. The Bulls are 4 to the good. What a finish.
And as much as we admire the finish, David Strilic will wonder why on earth his team was half asleep from a quickly taken free kick and allowed so much space, first for Holman and then for Jakalic to find the angle and get the shot away.
Coaches talk about rest defence. What's happening in those moments that you can't switch off? But on a few occasions now, Perth are just coming unstuck. And you're right, Simon, the quickly taken free kick. And Jake Holman turns, faces, and threads a pass delightfully through the line.
Well, the siren's going off in the background, and they may well be from the Perth Glory bench, because the alarm bells are ringing for Glory. Of course, it's only game one of a long season, but same old frailties, it seems, remain. Up and away by Vujica. Jed Drew perhaps smelling blood. Holman. Pass back from Jaman, putting his teammate Liam Rose under a little bit of pressure.
This is the thing at the moment with how Perth are setting up, that if Macarthur break that first line or two of defence, there's 5 or 6 Perth players out of the game within one pass that we've seen happen a few times already.
Somebody's found the off switch for the siren. David Strilic will have his first half-time team talk in around 12 or 13 minutes time. Oh, to be a fly on the wall for that one. You look team or not, you don't expect to come in at the break 4 goals down.
No. It's going to be a huge half-time break.
And you've got to feel sorry for Ollie Sale. Really at fault with any of the goals. He's become used to it. By the way, that's now 47 goals Ollie Sale has conceded, and this is just his 18th game for Glory this afternoon.
Yeah, not the best.
Pretty damning numbers, aren't they?
Well, the last time Macarthur scored 4 as well in an A-League game was back in February.
By the way, the biggest margin at half-time in an A-League game is 5. That's happened on a few occasions. And the Bulls could be in for a 5th here, but it just got away at the crucial moment from Jaman. Following up, though, is Ivan Vujica, who blazes away high over the goal. Well, that would have been a back-page headline. Ivan Vujica has only ever scored 1 A-League goal, but again, Perth were cut apart.
I spoke about a slightly makeshift backline for Perth. Players who somewhat out of position, central defenders playing in wide areas.
And to be fair, Grace, I don't think they've been given much protection by the midfielders either. I mean, you defend as a team, don't you? Bodnar did his bit there.
Yeah, they're just getting pulled apart a little too easily. Whether that's the back 4 or just the holding midfielders in front. Brandon O'Neill getting a little caught out of position at times, and I mentioned it before, but just these passes coming out of the back line from Macarthur, just how quickly they're breaking through the shape of Perth. They're doing it all too easily at the moment.
Reorganisation perhaps at half-time for Glory. The Bib has seen that one out safely enough for a goal kick. Has got the Belgian imports Anas Hamzawi on the bench, David Strilic. Macarthur for Glory. Kurto sends it upfield. And even the lucky ricochets are going Macarthur's way. And again, look at the space in midfield for Holman to drive into. Works it wide for Drew. He'll get another go. Here's Adamson, hangs it up towards the back post. And seen away by Macarthur for a throw. Those gaps are alarmingly big between defence and midfield for Glory. Particularly in those transitional moments. Adamson. Drew, who's had a really good first half. Escott for Rose. Holman. Luke Bratton. Jaman. Not able to get the better of Kanga. Good defending by Tommy Uskok. Threading it through for Gamulka. And now Taggart stealing in behind. Chance here for Glory. They're on the boards. But the flag is up on the far side. And it won't count. Just by a fraction, he was off Adam Taggart.
Yep, great call though. I was going to say a rather muted celebration otherwise from Adam Taggart, but he'd seen the flag go up.
Still had the striker's instinct though to put the ball in the back of the net, even though perhaps he knew he was the wrong side of the line. Scott quickly closed down by Faisal. Salashki. Faisal. It's good play by the winger. Corner ball.
I like that from Faisal. Obviously backs himself, backs his speed to drive towards the line and made it tricky for Macarthur's defence. Turned his side a corner as well.
Which is whipped in towards the vicinity of the penalty spot where Jake Holman was stationed. By the way, as we head into the final 5 minutes of the first half, Macarthur's biggest ever win in the Isuzu UTE A-League men's competition is by this margin. They defeated Adelaide by this scoreline in 2021, so that's certainly under threat. There's Kanga. Jekadumni faced by Vujitsa, who wins out at the expense of a throw. O'Neill. Back through Labib. Straight at Keely Adamson. Kanga taking no chances with the pacey Jed Drew in the vicinity. For Lisalashki. It's an intelligent ball and threaded out wide. Across from Faisal, somewhat overhit. Well, you've got to keep the faith if you're a Perth Glory fan. He's there, home and away. Spends a lot of money following his team. And he will be as pig-sick as David Strilic, I'm sure, at the moment. One or two other Glory fans there with him. Shaban.
If there was any question over Macarthur's performance in the Australia Cup, we know they went through to win it, but that final didn't create much. Today, a different story.
Bodnar just catching Valère Jaban. Again, the Bulls just a little bit quicker, a little bit sharper. Worked out wide for Drew. Through Lisalashki with ease. Cross swept away by Kanga. Taggart helps it forward. Faisal. Really good defending by Adamson. They work the triangle well, Macarthur. Good tackle on Bratton though by Lisalashki. Bratton squares it up, and again, look at the room in midfield. They're trying to fill the gaps now. Vujitsa on the overlap. Found nicely by Yakulish. The cross is a disappointing one. The other issue, Grace, with Glory defensively is I'm told that Lewis Kanga, experienced defender though he is, 3 caps for Ecuador, doesn't speak a whole lot of English, so communication can perhaps be problematic. Less so for Tony Popovic, who's in conversation with Sam Kreslovich, the CEO of Macarthur. John Satsamas there as well. Former CEO of Western Sydney Wanderers, now with Football New South Wales. All look as though they're enjoying the afternoon sunshine. Sam Kreslovich will be in particular.
Great to see Tony Popovic out at the games too, particularly after the likes of Luke Bratton making his debut for the Socceroos. What a moment for him.
Only lasted 45 minutes, unfortunately, before he was dragged by the new coach. He waited a long time for that moment. It's a first half stoppage time. And Macarthur going on the hunt for more goals, and Yakulish is away. Can he finish? He can. 2 for Marin Yakulish, 5 for Macarthur, as they equal the biggest margin between 2 teams at half-time in A-League history. A quite extraordinary first 45 minutes for the Bulls. An utter capitulation again by the Glory.
On the Harvey Norman replay, Perth have been absolutely flawed in this first half. It's 5 goals, it's a 5-star performance, and Jake Holman, again the architect in build-up to this play. Neatly done by Yakulish. Coolly taken, composed on the ball, picks his spot. Nestles into the back of the net.
Well, a double for Marin Yakulish. I make that now 3 assists for Jake Holman. And what a miserable first 45 for new coach David Strilic and Perth Glory. They have been ripped to pieces in this first half.
They really have. Can't take anything away from some of the play we're seeing through that final third from Macarthur, but the defending leaves a lot to be questioned with the Glory.
Well, in the words of the song for Perth, things can only get better. I must pray it doesn't get any worse before a half-time whistle goes, which can only be a matter of seconds away. Drew gives the ball away. Up in the air it goes, off the boot of Liam Rose. And that is half-time. And what a first half for Macarthur. Jed Drew got the ball rolling after 7 minutes and then teed up Jake Holman for the second. Tommy Uscott got a third, and then a double for Marin Yakulish. 3 assists for Jake Holman. And this new-look Perth Glory has been utterly shredded by a Rampant Bulls outfit. And they will hope for more to come in the second half. At the break, though, in Campbelltown, it is Macarthur 5, Perth Glory 0. Off to a half-time break. On the other side of it, we'll have the Hungry Jacks half-time show. See you in a couple of minutes.
guys have done an amazing job keeping the doors open. The reality is that it can't keep going on the way it is.
This is half time. We stood in this position here today and gone through things no one else has ever endured. To come through everything we've been through, it's unbelievable, fellas.
That's not by chance. That's by hard work.
Welcome to the Hungry Jacks halftime show. Great new doco on the Mariners coming up soon on Paramount Plus here in Campbelltown at halftime. That pretty much sums up Perth Glory's first half. Ollie Sale beaten 5 times. And on top of that pacing, they might have a bill for that Campbelltown Stadium sign to foot as well. The locals pretty happy with what they've seen. The Bulls have been rampant in that first half. Helped, it must be said though, by a rather porous Perth Glory defence. Let's have a look at the Harvey Norman highlights. Great skill, and Macarthur got things going as early as the 7th minute, but they were given a big helping hand by Luke Bodnar.
Yeah, and this really set the tone here for Ollie Sale, who, to be fair, hasn't done much wrong, but on a few occasions he's just been left hung out to dry, and we can see his frustration coming through. Just poor in the middle of the park there. A simple giveaway, but it's been really lovely combination play in the final third. We've seen Jake Holman, we've seen Jed Drew, Valère Germain, Luke Bratton as well really ties that nicely together, and at the moment they're just running rampant.
Well, if it was Holman teeing up Drew for the first goal via a touch off Ollie Sale, then the roles were reversed 3 minutes later. Beautifully tucked away by Jake Holman, and the Bulls were too clear.
Yeah, and it's what I'm really enjoying about this Macarthur front third at the moment is the different dynamic of players. We know that Jed Drew is lightning quick. We know that Holman is a real architect. And then you've got the likes of Bratton, the experience underpinning them. Jakalish, who can dance through players such as this one as well. But everyone contributing to these moments.
Tomislav Uskok with the third. And Glory, well, perhaps just not desperate enough in their defending. Jakalish allowed to step his way through the defence. Ollie Sale doing his best. Uskok there to finish off. That was 3-0, and we'd only just played 20 minutes, and 3 became 4 10 minutes later. Marin Jakalish with the goal of the game so far.
And ultimately in that one, there were 6 Perth Glory players behind the ball. The pass threaded through. A delightful finish it was from Jakalish, but it just shouldn't get to that point. The pass needs to be stopped, needs to be intercepted, but a really neatly taken finish. And this ball through as well, yet again Holman, his weight of pass, his vision is astounding, and a really neatly taken finish once more from Jakalish.
Yeah, Jake Holman has been at the centre of most of those good attacking moments for the Bulls, and there's been plenty of them in this first half. And poor old Ollie Sale, who's now conceded 48 goals in 17 and a half matches as Glory custodian. There's the half-time stats. Macarthur on top in every register. 8 shots on target. At the other end, just the one effort for Perth Glory, which came courtesy of Caelan Majekadumbi. Let's have a look at those scarce chances then for Perth Glory. Just a couple of them. Caelan Majekadumbi stealing, or stinging the palms, I should say, of Philip Curto. We'll get to that in a moment. Here's the Paramount Plus player index, which shows that Jake Holman is top of the shop at the moment. Marin Jakalish in second. It's a Macarthur clean sweep of the top 5. Let's have a look at some of Jake Holman's best moments, Grace.
Yeah, I was just about to say, he's truly been everywhere for Macarthur, involved in everything. What I really enjoy about Jake Holman, as I mentioned just before, his vision, and it sounds like a simple thing, but his ball speed and weight of pass in some of these moments is exactly what creates the opportunities for his side. He's a very technical player, and Tony Popovich in the stands watching this unfold.
Yeah, he's a young player of immense promise and has got to be on the radar for the Olyroos as they begin their qualification, no doubt, for the next Olympics. So the locals enjoying the sunshine, and I'm sure among them enjoying this sunny afternoon is one of Macarthur's injured players at the moment, he being Bernardo Oliveira, who's been good enough to join us on the headsets. How are you, Bernardo? How's the injury?
Yeah, it's very good, thank you. Yeah, I'm feeling very good, so yeah, that's good.
You're back in training and you're almost ready to go?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I've been now for a little bit, and it's just building up because obviously it's such a big injury, and yeah.
What did you make of that first half, Bernardo? A pretty impressive performance from your Macarthur side.
Yeah, no, it was very impressive. I mean, it was something that, you know, you could just see all the hard work we put in pre-season, winning the cup as well. You know, we're just carrying the momentum through, but it's good.
Was that difficult for you to miss out on the Australia Cup final, Bernardo? I mean, great to watch your teammates lift a trophy, but surely you wanted to be out there among it.
Oh, yeah, no, of course. I think every footballer that isn't participating, you know, you always want to be out there. But I was obviously very happy for the boys, you know, in the club after winning such a big, you know, good achievement. But, nah, obviously I want to be back out there, and, yeah, it'll be soon.
And a few new faces and names in your squad this year. What have you made of the new players coming into the team?
Oh, I think, you know, they were the missing pieces in the team. You know, obviously Luke Braddon, you know, Yakulis, you know, Connor Meades, all these like boys coming in. It's just helping everything gel together, and you can see on the pitch out there today how it's just all flowing.
Going to be difficult to get back in the team, Bernie.
Yeah, I know. If they keep going this way, yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you back in action. We appreciate you joining us on the sideline this afternoon. Thanks, Bernardo.
Thank you.
That is Bernardo Oliveira, who's back soon for the Bulls. That was the Hungry Jacks halftime show. Don't forget, weekly kickoff coming up on Wednesday, this Wednesday and every week on 10 Bold and Paramount Plus. And Grace Gill is in the seat this week along with Daniel McBreen and host Scott McKinnon. Catch that at 5 o'clock on 10 Play and Paramount Plus, or at 10:30 p.m. on Bold. We're off for our final break before the second half commences. Of course, the A-League is celebrating 20 years this year, and we put together a package of some of the best goals from the last 2 decades. Here's a beauty to send us off to the break from Brisbane Roar's Eric Botiak. See you soon. Wenzel Halls. To float it in, there's a chance here. Oh, that is a stunning, stunning goal by Eric Botiak. That's one of the goals of the season. Acrobatic, dexterous, almost gymnastic-like, and clinical. Second half about to get underway in Campbelltown. You won't be surprised to hear David Strilic has made 3 changes at the break. Adam Bagaria, the former Western Sydney Wanderers junior, Kwa Ngo, the young winger of Vietnamese heritage, and Belgian import Anas Hamzawi are all on. Lewis Kanga, Luke Bodnar and Hiroaki Aoyama are the 3 players to make way. And I guess in many ways, David Strilic, Grace Gill, could have made 5 or 6 changes.
Yeah, unsurprising to see 3 made at the break, and needed to as well, whether it's fresh energy, a different approach. We'll see in this opening couple of minutes if Perth try to employ a similar tactic, or if they try and consolidate a little bit. They really do need to stem the bleeding.
Well, Macarthur looking to pick up where they left off. Jake Holman has been hugely influential, as has this man, Marin Yakulish. Confirmation of all those changes, top left of screen. As the Bulls work the ball back through Luke Bratton, as you were for Macarthur. No real need to change anything for Miller Stajovski. Close to a perfect display in the opening 45 from his team.
And as much as we speak a lot about, or I've mentioned a lot about the final third for Macarthur as well, their backline just really sound, haven't been tested a great deal. And their players able to get comfortably high and wide. Voits are always looking to get forward and get involved in the attack.
We saw the frustration of Ollie Sale at half-time. Afforded no real protection. Let's see if Glory can perhaps conjure up something here. It's Adam Taggart one-on-one, and he's put Perth Glory on the board, or has he? No. A second goal ruled out by an offside flag for Adam Taggart, and that one looked a bit closer.
Last year's golden boot, but he flirts with the offline side, Adam Taggart, and here you can see he just hasn't checked the run of his shoulder. And again, another good call. An unwavering finish otherwise, but there's 2 in the back of the net, both scratched for offside.
Well, they are just checking that, of course. Owen Goldrick on the near side, waited until the movement was complete, which of course they're told to do, before popping the flag up in the air. And VAR, led by Sean Evans tonight, still just checking all the angles. Ben Abraham just waiting to restart play. And the check is complete, offside confirmed. Unfortunate for Adam Taggart and for Perth.
Just a little reminder of Adam Taggart, what he can do in those moments. If you can just get the timing of that run right, or the delivery of the pass too.
Faisal looking to make progress. So guilty of being a little overeager on Luke Bratton. Very keen to impress on his return to New South Wales. Here's that moment again. Taggart just didn't delay his forward motion enough. It's very tight.
Yeah, it's a close one. You saw on the replay, he did just try and arc his run a little. It wasn't quite enough.
Just the top of the shoulder. Any part of the body that you can score with, of course. If it's beyond that last defender, then it's offside. Here's Jake Holman. Holding off the attentions of Adriano Labib. Yakulish takes over. Bratton got there first. Holman. Labib sweeps it forward for Perth. Zach Lisalashki has now gone into the centre of defence after the departure of Lewis Kanga to partner Adriano Labib, with Hamzawi at left back, so slightly Reworked defensive line for Glory. Jackadum is still at right back. Liam Rose. Forward by Labib. Little touch could open things up for Perth Glory. Faisal's not going to get there ahead of Matt Yearman.
Well, you mentioned they haven't been tested a great deal at the back, Macarthur, but when they are, they're up to task, and Matt Yearman goes to ground well, times it and has to do so to perfection.
So a corner for Perth Glory, which Gamulka whips in. And it was ultimately headed towards goal by Faisal, but comfortable for Philip Curto. We're in the 7th minute of the second half, which is the equivalent point in the first half when the goals started to rain in for Macarthur. I guess an exercise in damage limitation really for Glory. Second 45.
Yeah, well, just a slight adjustment intact, and it had to be for Perth. Just see them sitting back a little deeper in the first half. They were pinching out, running out of their lines, and that made it really easy for Macarthur just to thread the ball through. But this perhaps a little bit more composed, a little bit more compact in their shape.
All over the top, will find Valère Germain, but his touch took him backwards. Allowed Lissalashki to recover. This is Anas Hamzawi, who's arrived at the club during the off-season. Didn't play at all last year. He was in the Belgian second division the year before that. Here's Quiet and Go. And an awkward one for Philip Curto. And the Bulls do deal with it, ultimately at the expense of a corner. Some personal cost to Tommy Uscock.
Yeah, it was a bit of an awkward delivery for Curto to read, to backpedal fast and really just try and swat the ball away, make some level of contact with it.
Actually, it's Liam Rose who's come off worse, not Uscock. My apologies to him. Looks to be okay. Here's the corner from Gamulka. Brandon O'Neill. One go. That's an important intervention. Just to stop Jed Drew from breaking clear. Macarthur's XG nowhere near the amount of goals they've actually scored. Shows you perhaps just how efficient they've been in front of goal. Or how generous Perth Glory's defence has been.
No question what Drew thought about that one, but I think it's a bit of both, to your point, Simon. I think it's both really clinical finishing. We've seen from the Bulls this afternoon some moments of really nice, tidy play. And then also some pretty lackadaisical Perth defence, which they desperately need to tighten up into this second half.
And we'll touch off Keely Adamson for a corner. Was given a bit of a hospital pass there by his teammate. Perth have forced a succession of corners. See if they can make one pay here. And it goes off the head of Yakalish. It's an interesting stat. Final third entries in favour of the Glory. Also about quality and what you do with the ball when you get there, of course. O'Neill. Back for a third stint with Perth Glory. His hometown club, Warden Labib, was stretching. And caught his opponents. And gets a yellow card for that challenge on Jake Holman. Just got away from him a bit, didn't it?
Yeah, from that touch straight away, you could see lunging in.
Perth have managed to negotiate the opening 11 minutes of the second half reasonably comfortably. And might have had a goal themselves had Adam Taggart not strayed a fingernail or two offside. Here's Vujitsa. Touchdown by O'Neill. Holman. Here's Jed Drew. Macarthur threatening again, good save, Ollie Sale. Had a bit of power behind it, that drive from Jed Drew. On back by Adamson.
It's coolly done by Macarthur, under pressure, playing out of their own defensive third, found a way through.
And Yakalish on a hat-trick, of course. Trying to loop it over the head of Ollie Sale. Here's the previous effort from Jed Drew.
Stung the palms, no doubt, and again that came from the ball that was threaded through from Holman, no less.
All the way back to Philip Curto. Yakalish. Comfortable for Lesolashki, but he's given the ball away. And Yakalish has the presence of mind to sprint after it, and the cross was a good one. And I fancy there might just have been a nick off the toe of Zach Lesolashki there, which took it away from Jed Drew and meant the contact wasn't really secure for the Bulls winger.
Look, I really think this speaks to the mentality of the two teams. Yakalish not giving up on the play, still able to create. Just, again, just little moments from Perth, just falling asleep for half a second, and that's been the difference. Defensively, just those lapses. Seleshki had to get an important intervention there.
Macarthur, after a slower start to the second half, all of a sudden springing into life. The points, you'd imagine, bar a Lazarus-type comeback, are secure. It's, of course, this season, goal difference is back being the first differentiator, glad to say, in terms of league placings, so goal Goals for column, always a bonus. If it stays this way, then Macarthur will be top of the rather fledgling A-League ladder tonight. Here they go in search of more, and Perth are stretched. Jed Drew squaring it up, but it's behind Valère Germain, who would no doubt love to join in on the scoring act. He might do now, he has. Valère Germain from Yakulish's cross. 6 of the best for the Bulls, right on the hour mark. And Ollie Sale cannot take a trick.
Well, it goes from bad to worse for Perth Glory into this second half. The pass on the Harvey Norman replay behind the run of Valère Germain, but they haven't given up on the play, and again, once more, it's Marin Yakulish. This has to be dealt with by Perth. Poor defending, and when you've got someone with the quality experience of Valère Germain ghosting in to the back post, what's easy?
Well, you got 3 defenders there, basically stood in line like statues against one of the best strikers in the league. And all Yakulish had to do was pick him out. Too easy.
Yeah, far too easy on a platter there. And a golf clap from Valère Germain for the 6th of the afternoon.
Well, of course, he missed the Australia Cup final due to suspension. The Bulls' top goal scorer last season is back in the groove. And Glory staring down the barrel of yet another big hammering on the road. Back end of last season, it was 8-0. They lost to Melbourne City, 7-1 to Sydney FC, and here go the Bulls again. Yakulish. Oh, it's just too easy. And Jed Drew should have scored, but for Ollie Sale. Germain to the near post. Out it comes for Keely Adamson. They're queuing up. Yakulish. Well, it's the Keystone Cops at the back for Glory. Be a long week on the training paddock. You'd fancy this week ahead of the visit of Wellington Phoenix next week in WA. Jed Drew races away down the right. He's been terrific today. Good tackle that time from Zach Lisalashki. Another change for the Glory. Alan Njeka-Dummi has his number called, and Jared Carluccio, formerly almost of this parish with Western Sydney Wanderers, is his replacement.
A tough afternoon for these young Perth Glory defenders. Steep learning curve, and they have to learn from this as well.
There goes Holman. Nothing doing from that one. Robbie Stanton watching on, the coach of the Newcastle Jets. There's Glory's next 5 games. Wellington at home, the Mariners away, City at home, and then Western at home. For Macarthur, they face the Newcastle Jets next, which is no doubt why Robbie Stanton is in attendance on the back of their 1-0 home defeat to Melbourne City yesterday. Here's Holman. Yakulish quite measured that well enough for Holman. By and large, those combinations for the Bulls have worked really well in and around the box. And such is the comfort of the scoreline. They're going to make some substitutions presently. which may well signal an A-League debut for young striker Dean Bosniak. Back to that shortly. Free kick Perth.
It's moments like this for Perth. They need to try and make the most of a set-piece opportunity. Take their time with it. Get some good numbers forward. Curto, he hasn't had much to do this afternoon. Just organising his wall.
Oddly enough, he has been beaten twice, but Adam Taggart offside on both occasions. Lashki's free kick comes to nothing. Taking over. Pinged out towards Keely Adamson by Curto. Nice little stop and prop by the fullback. Gets the head up. The deflection may yet favour Jake Holman. Go took over momentarily. One back by Buietza. Holman goes down. Lucio penalised. There's heavy contact between the two.
Solid coming together there. Holman really just held his run. Lucio collided. So those changes you mentioned just moments earlier.
It's going to be a triple change. Debut for new import Dino Arslanagic. A debut as well for 17-year-old Dean Bosniak, and also a first look at former South Melbourne striker Harrison Sawyer for Macarthur fans. Back for his second stint in the A-League, but great contributions, all three players that have come off.
Yeah, really sound.
Yakulish with the free kick. They've got plenty of aerial power, particularly now with Harrison Sawyer in there. Scorer of so many goals for South Melbourne last season.
Great stature, doesn't he? A really good target. You can just see his size on the field. Really stands out.
Chance for glory. Flag stays down for now. Taggart away. Didn't really have any other option, and now Owen Goldrick does pop the flag up. Well, as you mentioned in the first half, Grace, he does like to play on the shoulder of the last defender. Strikers almost have to, don't they? But he's just gone too early on too many occasions.
Yeah, exactly right, and it is the style of play that Adam Taggart looks to employ, and last year it found him the golden boot, but he was also leading the league in offsides, so it sort of speaks to drifting off the shoulder, and sometimes you get it right, but this afternoon it just hasn't come together for Taggart.
"17 shots Macarthur have mustered. 12 of those on target. Sure, Perth Glory, some of their fans are looking up at the clock and thinking, goodness me, there's still 20 plus minutes to go. It's a tough life being a Glory fan these days. And they'll be back at some point. 20 years now since they The last Australian champions in the days of the old National Soccer League. Tony Popovich, of course, did lead them to the Premiership in 2019. Back here today watching one of his former clubs. It's been slim pickings for the team from WA in the A-League era. And they've been well beaten here this afternoon. Across the defensive line to one of the new imports, Dino Arslanigic. Is of Bosnian heritage, but played 12 times for the Belgian under-21 national team. So we've got two Belgians on the field with Anas Hamzawi of Perth. Adamson. Return ball quite on target from young Dean Bosniak. O'Neill. O'Neill was prepared to try and crawl his way past Keely Adamson, but fortunately for him, ran the ball over the sideline. A foul by Bosniak. Walter Scott's going to be Macarthur's next change off the bench. Played a big part in their Australia Cup campaign. Fourth official Nathan Shakespeare just getting the numbers right on the board. We understand it's going to be Marin Jakalic who's going to be denied the chance of a hat-trick. Here's Taggart. And the ball is looped over and in for Perth Glory. They are finally on the boards. And it's the third time it's flown past Philip Curto. At this time, it does count. Small consolation, perhaps. But their first goal of the campaign arrives.
On the Harvey Norman replay again, it's Taggart working hard in that final third. Ultimately, what was a little of an awkward shot spilled over the top of Curto, and understandably a fairly measured celebration, reducing the deficit to 5 goals.
Well, it was Adam Bagaria who had the initial shot. Maybe the last touch came off Adam Taggart. And a goal nonetheless for Perth, and that change now has been made for Macarthur as well. Marin Jakalic withdrawn after his 2-goal contribution, and Walter Scott on in his place.
Left first, Abdul! Left first, okay?
Adamson. Bracken out for Vujica. Philip Curto will be disappointed he wasn't able to keep a clean sheet He was on a run of 3 straight in the Australia Cup against Melbourne Victory and South Melbourne and Oakley Cannons. Scott. Yeoman. Vujitsa. Scott claiming to throw off Carluccio, and those claims are verified. Another change for Perth, and it's going to be another debut, this time for former Brisbane Roar striker Nikola Miljusnic in place of Abdullah Faisal, whose return to New South Wales didn't exactly go according to plan against his old club.
Well, we know that Jusnic is fast, he's dynamic, but it is a tricky role to be injected in 15 minutes to play a little under the side trailing by 5 goals.
Confirmation that Perth Glory goal was indeed scored by Adam Bagaria. Goal on debut in the A-League for him after his arrival for Western Sydney Wanderers during the off-season. It shapes as little more than consolation for Glory. Both looking to press, but the Bulls have to play out, or at least they were until that moment. It's just overstretching. Well, I guess second 45, great skill, success of a sort for David Strilic. They're 1-1 in the second half. Adamson labouring to get to that one. Hamzawi dispossessed. Adamson going forward. Off the head of Misalashki. Back with Vujitsa.
Yeah, you've got to take the positives out of those moments of second half performance. 1 goal apiece for each side. David Strilic, well, really, it's a big week for them to reflect on this one. It was always going to be a bit of a test for Glory to see how they came out. A couple of omissions today, a couple of injuries, but it has been a capitulation. It's been a fairly insipid performance.
Scott for Jaman. Arslanigic. Bosniak. Grant looking for the return ball. Quite have the pace to get through to him. Sawyer won it back. And Bosniak with room to turn. Or Zach Misalashki said enough of that. Well, go being forced to backpedal. Vujitsa. just threading the gap for Liam Rose. Into the final 10 minutes. Shadows starting to lengthen on a gloriously sunny afternoon in Campbelltown. And the locals have been well entertained. Rose losing out. Here's Taggart. Trying to bustle his way through. Brought down by Ngo. Hamzawi. That's going to run out of play before Kwat Ngo is able to retrieve it. And another change imminent for Macarthur. We're going to see the introduction of Ariaf Piol at the expense of Balair Jaman, who got Macarthur's 6th goal on the hour mark. Another good performance by the Bulls skipper. His stats in all competitions for Macarthur now reading 38 games played, 18 goals, which is a pretty good return. Shot from long range, flashes well wide of Philip Curto's goal. Is Perth Glory's lone goal, scored by Adam Bulgaria. Taggart getting out of the way. They had something to celebrate.
You've got to celebrate the wins in those moments.
Here's Adamson being pressured by Kwat Ngo. Got the ball out for a throw.
The luxury now for Mile Stajowski to give these players opportunity and minutes, and not just one or two, but we've got a goal buffer in the way that they have for a good 45 minutes of this game. Good minutes in the legs, good opportunity to test some different combinations that otherwise you wouldn't.
That's a good steal by Jared Carluccio. We've already got a few bodies in the box here. In fact, Taggart took it away from one of his teammates with that touch off the head, and now Ariaf Piol will race after that one. Lissalashki across. Quickly taken throw. Sawyer. Piol shots blocked by Carluccio. Bratton encouraged to shoot by the home fans. Works it out towards Walter Scott instead. On the volley wide by Harrison Sawyer. He got a sweet connection, but just not quite the direction.
Well, that would have been a pretty special introduction to this afternoon's game. Nice delivery as well. Read it well, good timing. Technically, he got over the top of that really, really well.
Well, he had those 5 games for the Newcastle Jets back in 2017. I think by his own admission, he wasn't perhaps quite ready for his A-League chance. He's more than ready now. After a rather eclectic career overseas, which has taken in stints in some rather different places. India with Jamshedpur, Hong Kong with Taipo, the Philippines with Davao Aguilas, and latterly in Finland with Vasa before he came home to South Melbourne. Rather robust challenge by Lapib. Liam Rose suffering. It's Harry Sawyer who felt the full weight of that one, though. It's one of 4 home games in the first 6 fixtures for Macarthur. They've got just the one interstate trip in that opening spell, so a chance for them to really get off to an excellent start. Season 20 of the A-League. They've certainly laid down a marker here this afternoon. Nikola Milojevic feeling a bit of a twang in the hamstring.
Yeah, not a good sign at all there for Milojevic. He propped up, he stopped himself and just quickly grabbed down to that right hammy. So we'll keep an eye on that one for the next few minutes. But he sort of looked knowingly up at the bench. He's still struggling with it. Just to the bottom of the screen now.
Glory have made 5 substitutions. It was just as he looked to push off and accelerate, he felt something tighten. And immediately that hand went back, as you said, Grace, to the hamstring. Well, that's a concern for David Strilic on a day when he's had more than one.
Yeah, I think Milojevic knows there. That's a frustrated look.
About to say some of the Glory fans can't bear to look, but young fan alerting his friend or his father, whoever he is, to the fact that he was on the big screen. Nikola Milojevic looks like he will play no further part. Here's an update on the Paramount Plus player index. Marin Jakulish's 2-goal salvo, along with 2 assists, has him top of the pile, ahead of Jake Coleman, Thomas Lavler-Scott, Jake Drew and Keely Adamson. Does that meet with your approval, Grace?
Yeah, to be fair, that really does pass the eye test. I think it's been a sound performance, and as much as we mentioned the front third on a number of occasions for Macarthur, Hulscott getting involved, Yeoman solid at the back, Wojtzer as well, and Adamson has been really lively. It's been just what you have to say for Mile Stojowski has been a really pleasing performance across the park.
So Perth down to 10, having made their allotted number of substitutes. Nikola Milojevic forced off with injury. And really the best thing about their trip east today will be the final whistle. Just that consolation goal from Adam Bagaria to take away. At least managed to stem the flow somewhat second half. It's that solitary goal from Valère Germain to add to Macarthur's 5 in the first half. No solutions in sight as yet, at least, to Perth's travel sickness. That is, as we suspect, a hamstring problem. You'd imagine Nikola Milojevic would be struggling for next weekend's home game against Wellington, following which they have a trip to the central coast of New South Wales to face the Mariners. Macarthur within sight of their biggest ever win in the competition as Pjol turns, plays in Sawyer. Was he being dragged down by Labib? Fans thought so, perhaps tellingly. There were few appeals from the players.
Still Macarthur are looking nice in the final third there. They've made a raft of changes. The old Silky with his pass through.
Strong challenge by O'Neill. Hamzawi. Just a couple of minutes to be added on at the end. Maybe they're applying the mercy rule for Glory. Vujica. Scott. Sawyer. Drew. Miss out Adamson looking for Piol, but Glory steal the ball back. And then a foul on Adam Taggart. Gives Glory a free kick. Adam Taggart can see the funny side of that. I wouldn't imagine there'd be too many smiles on the long journey home on the plane back to WA. Least of all from their goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's a really tough afternoon for Ollie Sale.
There's some more consolation here. Go not quite able to get goal side of Curly Adamson. Vujica. Bratton. The space here for Adamson. Wozniak. Turned back by Piol. Bratton. Here's Vujica. We'll have a go here. Ivan Vujica. And he remains stuck on that one goal that he scored for Western United against Melbourne City in January 2021. But it matters not, because Macarthur have recorded their biggest ever winning the Isuzu UTE League Men's competition on the back of a 5-goal first-half blast. Opening weekend success for the Bulls, who maintain their unbeaten record against Glory here in Campbelltown. Perth still very much a work in progress, still unable to win on the road, and still conceding far, far too many goals. One for Jed Drew, one for Jake Holman, one for Tomislav Uskok, one for Valère Germain, and two for Marin Jakalic, with Adam Bulgaria with the only response for Perth Glory at the other end. Full-time scoreline in Campbelltown. Macarthur 6, Perth Glory 1. Well, take nothing away from Macarthur Grace. They did what they had to do, and in the end they perhaps eased off a little bit in the second half. Perth a little bit better structurally, second 45, but by then the damage was done.
Yeah, a very steep hill to climb into that second half for Perth Glory.